Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and thank you for joining me with Shift. This is Subconscious Dialogues. Look what I'm dealing with right now. Do you see this? This is my cat's tail. His ass is right here. So every now and then you're going to see like flip, and I'm like, okay. So I just had 2 business meetings this morning, and I feel shaken slightly. I felt shaken before I started my first meeting at 8 a.m. And I went, yeah, that's right. That's right. I had 2 meetings before 10 o'clock, and this is my life now. And that's why I need to talk, is because we talk about imposter syndrome, and that's a bad word. Oh, I hate it when we have bad words. It's the wrong word. It's not I'm an imposter. It's a feeling of disbelief in who you're turning out to be. Because you're so much of a stranger with your authenticity that when you're finally authentic, you're going, oh my God, this is me. Is this really me? And it's not that it's an imposter syndrome. I mean, that's part of it. It definitely can evolve into imposter syndrome, but it's more disbelief at your own authenticity. Let me write that down. Disbelief at your own self. It's literally disbelief of, oh my God, this is who I am. And this is a stage thing. This is really important because you're going to do this. When you heal, you start to put yourself together. And when you put yourself together, write this down. When you put yourself together, you start to realize the scope of what they took away from you. That's really what this is. And you think they took away X, and you think they took away Y, and they think they took away B. But when you accumulate all of this data together and you finally get the big picture of who you really are, you just go, oh my God, they took away this? And the disbelief is such that you just can't fathom how horribly you had to be abused to suppress what they were holding down. And that's it. That is it right there. That is the disbelief that every one of you feels when you start to heal, is the mind-blowingness of, oh, holy shit, this is what they took away from me. So I need to reset, and I need to go back to where I am and solidify, because the way we think about business is fucked up. The way we approach a business is wrong, which is why so many businesses fail. A business is built on the foundation of your authenticity. Every business is built on the foundation of your authenticity. And if you don't know who you are, then your business is not going to go anywhere, because it is only as stable as you are certain of who you are. So if you don't know who you are, your business is going to go nowhere. And every time you feel shaken with a decision, every time you feel indecisive, that is the time to step back, curl back into your cocoon, and reflect. Who am I? What do I want? We have been conditioned in our society to not ask the question, what do I want? We have been told that wanting is a sin. And we really need to define and rethink the way we think about wanting and desire. Because while I figure this out, everything that I figure out just gets fed further into the garden. There's a process that I put the whole thing under. It's I need to do this. Yes, I need to do this. This is the process that all goes on. Let me turn my music down because I don't know yet fully about copyright laws with that. And I want to make sure that that music is not on my video. So how do I explain this to you? How do I articulate it for myself? How do I define it? Because that's what this is really about. It starts off with me just wanting to heal. I want to heal. I want to resolve my problem. But I'm a theoretical learner. I can't just follow a set of instructions. I can't just follow a set of instructions that a fourth perspective throws at me. I did that with Brain to Books, my first business. And it worked and it flew, and I was clueless. So that when I sat down to do my second business, that just unfolded. That still is there. It's still going. That's it there. That's my author business, my books. And then I have the Devil's Dungeon. And that's where I lost everything, because I didn't lose everything. It's where I put it together, and then I went, oh, this is not what I want. And then I created the Healing Garden. And then I went, okay, now this is what I want. That's where I want to dabble, but this is what I want. So I want the Healing Garden, but I want to dabble in the dungeon. Oh yes, dungeon dabbling. That's going to be a thing. Dungeon dabbling. I am going to do Dungeons and Dragons BDSM night in my dungeon. You heard me. Click on the link below and reach out to me if this video resonates with you and you want to be part of that. It's going to be live in New York City, and I'm probably going to do something also. It's a lot. I have a lot happening. I have so much. So it's just all on my Linktree. Just go to my Linktree. It's all there. And you can literally browse all of my projects. But this is dungeon dabbling, where I combine my BDSM with my Dungeons and Dragons, because I need the shit. I need to use Dungeons and Dragons to explore my shadow self. Yes, we're doing this. So, calling all nerds. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Focus. I want to heal and I want to resolve my problem. But I have to understand the theory. So I dive into the theory. I use my psychology and my philosophy, and I pull it all apart, and I have an epiphany. I get my shift. I go, Eureka! I decompress. I process it. And then I think, oh my God, I cannot wait until I tell you guys. And that's when I jump onto my podcast and I say, okay, so this is what I've recently discovered. And I feel like that guy in Walking Dead at the CDC going, this is my last recording. I've lost all the research and I didn't know what to do now. And I guess it's over. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Brownie points if you know what I'm referencing. And I feel fantastic. I feel like, there you go. I feel like that. This is just my research blog. This is my research blog. I document my research. I document my journey. I report my findings. I use exploratory dialogue to roll over the thoughts in my head and the philosophies. I check my system to make sure it aligns with my truth and my authenticity. That's right. And when it all feels properly balanced and aligned, that's when I went, all right, so based on what I know on psychology and based on what I know on logic, here's how I logically prove what I've understood with psychology. And this is how it ties into physics. And yeah, that's all aligned and it feels right. And then poof, I present it to you in shifting perspectives. And then I think, now how can I take that and make it work for you? So the podcast is about stage 3 of this process. I have my personal process. I have my internalizing healing process. And then I have my let's blog and do the research process podcast. And then part 4 is let's sit down and put this into a thing that we can make it work for you so you can repeat my process. That's it. So I think about, and this is where I keep getting stumped. I wrote something down today that I wanted to share with you because it was so perfectly. The how is always revealed over time and only when we are ready. We spend a lot of time focusing on how we're going to do something, how we're going to pull something off. And that's all we focus on. What we need to be focusing on is, what do you want? That's the first question. What do you want? Not how are you going to do it? What do you want? Most of us will say, well, I want money. That's not the right answer. The reason why you are asking the question, or the reason why you are saying, what I want is money. Ready for this? If you are into manifesting, pay attention. We want money only when there is scarcity. So every time you want money, you are actually speaking out of a fear of loss or scarcity, which is why many of us cannot manifest money, is because you are wanting it out of scarcity, which is the opposite of abundance. But you know what you have an abundance of? You. You have an abundance of desire, dreams, wishes, wants. That is what you have an abundance in. So when you make a wish for something, money, in most cases you are talking and speaking and wishing out of scarcity. When you wish out of scarcity, you get scarcity. When you wish out of abundance, you get abundance. So when you manifest, which are you focusing on? Now we're going to wrap all this and pull it right back into building a business, being authentic, because that's really what this keeps coming back to, is being authentic. And I keep writing these things down. I want to podcast. Oh my God, do I love podcasting. This is my happy place. It's so funny because I'll talk on these business meetings and people will just have a 5-minute conversation with me and they'll be like, you know, I see you just doing podcasts. And I'm like, yeah, that's where my truth is. I love doing this. I love taking stage. Now, I have no idea how to monetize this. I have no idea how. Not my problem. The universe will show me how when it's ready. You, through pulling on my threads, will show me how. You will come to me. I will pull on the threads, pulling at you and say, here, this is what I want. I want to be a podcaster. I want to do public speaking. And I want to do getaway resorts. And I want to do my really awesome live events for non-conformists that are really out there and weird, but awesome. Out there, that's going to be my marketing for that. Weird, but awesome. Oh, yes. So my dabble dungeon, my dungeon dabbling is going to be out there, weird, but awesome. Yes, that's going to be part of it. And I get so focused on the details that I start to become indecisive again. And indecisiveness is the death of abundance. Indecisiveness is the death of abundance. And what I realized is when you venture out into the world of business, you reach that point, just like you do in your healing, just like you do in anything. You're out in the exploration zone. And sometimes you explore too much and you go, okay, now I'm starting to feel shaky. I need to go back to the comfort zone. I need to go back to my genie bottle. So this is my genie bottle. My podcasting is my genie bottle. It's the part where I sit down and I discuss, who am I? But I really want you to take away from this what you can do with it, what you can use it for with your own healing. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're healing, whether you're dreaming, whether you're adventuring. You must be tuned in to your intuition and your feelings, because you're going to feel shaky some days. And that is the very first symptom that it's time to go back to your genie bottle and remember who you are. What do you want? That's the question. What do you want? So when you're going through and you suddenly start to feel indecisive, indecisive is the first clue. And you start to feel uncertain. These are not scary emotions. Not yet. Left alone, oh, they become something scary. When you don't take care of indecisiveness or uncertainty, it turns into fear. When you don't take care of indecisiveness and uncertainty, it becomes confusion. And then you become lost. Most of us are lost. I talk a lot on authenticity. This is me officially saying, technically, everything I do is about authenticity. We are walking into the age of authenticity. I'm going to be changing the YouTube title of this video to The Age of Authenticity. And that is exactly what it is we are walking into. But none of us have any idea how to be authentic. Authenticity is what we were told we should not have our entire lives. Authenticity is the core of who we are, our dreams, where it is we're going, what it is we're doing. Authenticity is everything. In one of my meetings this morning, I'm looking for my meeting notes. I wrote something down. How to socialize while being authentic. And that's the problem. A lot of us do not know how to socialize while being authentic. A lot of us don't know how to relationship while being authentic. A lot of us don't know how to build a business without being authentic. I'm saying that wrong. I'm going to say this again to make sure that the words are right because it matters. How to relationship while being authentic. How to socialize while being authentic. How to build a business while being authentic. Most of us have no idea how to do this. Most of us are clueless when it comes to being authentic. We just don't know how to do it. What we know how to do is we know how to be manufactured to be in a relationship. We know how to be manufactured to socialize. And I really want you to focus on, this is really important, the subject of the sentence and the object of the sentence. Now, that's deep grammar talk. So I'm going to break it down for you. You know, I can't even remember off the top of my head because it's been so long. One of them is one and the other is the other. I think the object is the one in the last point. Yeah, the subject. Yes, I already know. I already see it. The subject. The subject is what the sentence is about. You are usually the subject here. How to relationship. I got to think about this. Give me a minute. I need to really sort out my thoughts here. How to socialize. That's the sentence. How to socialize. Socialize is the subject. How to socialize. All of our focus is on the socializing. It's the socializing that's going to interact with authenticity. Now, what it interacts with is the object. The subject interacts with the object. So, how to socialize with authenticity. How to relationship. The subject just changed. With authenticity. How to do business with authenticity. Now, in our world, we've swapped it around, so it's how to be manufactured. So you can socialize or relationship or do business. People have been made into a one-size-fits-all. That is the age we have been living in, a one-size-fits-all manufactured age, so that each and every one of us has been manufactured so we can socialize, relationship, do business. It just plugs it in because it's a one-size-fits-all. We're manufactured. The problem is we are people with a love system. Love systems are the core, are the identity. In the age of authenticity, manufactured does not work. And that is the divide that every one of us is experiencing right now. Either you are for the manufactured lifestyle or you are against it. Bottom line. Which are you? If you are a foundational, you want the manufactured lifestyle because that is your control, that is your fear, that is your safe place, that is your comfort zone. It's why I'm angry at the foundationals. It's because each and every individual has to make this choice for themselves. Authenticity is a choice you make for the self. But being manufactured, you are making that choice for others. Guess what? When you make a choice for others, that's called enslavement. I know a thing or two about enslavement. And that's probably why I am so angry and frustrated and upset and probably a bit too aggressive towards foundationals, is because their mindset is about slave ownership. And for someone who is stuck for 40 years in that kind of a lifestyle, it's personal. It's really personal. Every time I meet someone with that mindset, I say to them, no, you want to be manufactured. You want me to be manufactured. Authenticity says, I don't give a shit what you do. I need to be me. Authenticity says, I need to focus on what's good for me. Manufactured says, what's good for me is good for you. And if you don't conform, I'll break you. That's manufactured. And there's a whole lot of people who believe in that, but they're not saying it. But that's what they're living. They are living, and then they're calling it something different so they can do it. That's manipulative. So yeah, people who are in the second, third, and fourth perspective are very manipulative. It's why I don't work with foundationals. Now, there are a lot of good people who are absolutely stuck in that mindset. And I am absolutely on board with helping them, and I'm building the materials to do so. But I don't view those people as foundationals. I view those people as people who are lost in the dark like I was. And they need all the help they can get if they want to get out. Absolutely. Now, I know we need foundationals. I know it's part of the evolutional cycle and that it will work itself out. And I was personally severely abused by that garbage. I have forgiven every one of my abusers. Absolutely. I really, truly do wish they're healing. In fact, it's part of my manifestation every day, is that they heal. Because I understand how much they must be suffering in order to have to do that to people. And I feel so bad for them. I truly do love and care for my abusers. There is distance, and they cannot be around me. And I love them. And I hurt for them. But when I'm looking at the system as a whole, I'm realistic because I've seen it, because I lived in it, because I had a whole lot of people who were forcing me to submit to their enslavement and their manufactured lifestyle at the expense of my identity. And they didn't give a shit. My father is more concerned about manufacturing his dream than me. My father was more concerned about making sure I fit into his perspective and I worshiped his perspective than he ever gave a shit about me. And my brother's the same way. They are foundationals. So this is a different way to live. You have to choose. You cannot have a manufactured lifestyle and an authentic one. This is one of those rare black and whites. You can desire the authentic life but be conditioned to obey the manufactured life. That happens to a lot of us. But you have to want the authenticity more than the manufactured security. Now, there is security in authenticity, but the security that you find in authenticity is just not what you expect it to be. So a lot of people don't trust it yet. They step into it and they're going, oh my God, this is so different. It's an unknown. And because they're afraid of change and they're afraid of unknown, they tend to shy away from authenticity because it scares them. But there's a different kind of security in authenticity. It is a solid foundation that you can always go back to your genie bottle, recuperate, and give yourself the comfort that you need. There is I'm going to call it the psychology of self-comfort. That's a really good way of talking about it. Kind of like the psychology of boundaries. And that's it. When you take a boundary with you, you're actually taking your comfort zone with you. A boundary makes your comfort zone transportable. It really does. That's exactly what a boundary does. I really need to go back and watch this video and take all of my notes. A boundary literally puts your comfort zone on a car and you can take it with you. Without boundaries, you leave your comfort zone behind. And that's the problem. You should always have your comfort zone with you. And when you understand the arc, when you understand the psychology of comfort zones, the psychology of comfort, we're going to do it right now because it's so important. This is the same system you should be getting when you were a child. And I do mean like 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. This is the same process. I'm going to break it down for you because this is what it looks like. When we are children in a healthy mother-child relationship, the mother is the comfort zone. Now, later, this comfort zone transfers from the mother to the identity and authenticity. That's important. So your mother represents the comfort zone. Now, when we are 1 year old, we just learned how to walk. And there's a zone, right? There is the comfort zone, which is the space around the mother. There is the growth zone, what I like to call the adventure zone. And then venture too far, and there is the dark abyss of fear, and that is the fear zone. Now, when you are here at the comfort zone with your mother, that's safe. You feel secure. You feel comfortable. But you venture out into the growth zone once you feel confident enough. Once you get into the growth zone, that's when you can explore, adventure, define the self, figure out what you love and who you are. And once you start to feel insecure, once you start to feel indecisive because you can't quite remember who you are, you're supposed to come back to the comfort zone, the mother. Redefine, okay, who am I again? What do I love? Okay, that's right. Ground yourself, recharge, and then go back into the growth zone again. Now, go too far and you hit that fear zone. Many of us, when we are traumatized, go to the fear zone, get trapped, and then we bunker down in a hole and we stay in the fear zone and we never leave the fear zone. That's where trauma breeds. That's where trauma is. That, if you are in an abusive situation, that is where you are. And in order to basically reset yourself, you have to get out of your bunker, get back to the growth zone, get back to the comfort zone, ground, recharge at that center. And then once you heal and you recharge, you can venture out again into the growth zone. Now, that growth zone is also what we call exposure therapy. Now, it is vital that when you do exposure therapy, that you literally use that exposure therapy for how do I explain it? If you push yourself too far before you're ready, you'll just re-traumatize yourself again. So it's really important that you are ready for that exposure and you don't jump the gun too quickly. Now let's transfer this from the mother example over to you as an adult. You are supposed to transfer that comfort zone from your mother over to the self. That is what the stages of growth through the 9 perspectives actually is. It's you saying, where's the comfort zone? The comfort is with the caregiver. No, my comfort zone, I've been saying autonomy. It's comfort zone. The comfort zone is with the caregiver. The comfort zone is with the community leader, the tribal leader, the god, the religion, the head of the household. No, the comfort zone is now with the self, but you don't know who you are yet, and it's chaos, and you take it too far. Okay, so the comfort zone is now law and order. That's my comfort zone. For many of us, the stage 3 traumatizes us so much that when we get to the 4th stage, we never leave it again because we associate pain and suffering with being independent. And that is why stage 3s or stage 4s don't grow. That's why so many stage 4s hit stage 4 and they cling to their law and order because they are terrified of going back to 3. But they don't realize that they've already learned the lesson of 3 and you can never go back to 3. They cannot escape or step away from that concept. So they use law and order as a security blanket, as a crutch, and it keeps them there, which is why 4ths don't grow, which is why 3rds don't grow, which is why 2s don't grow. It's because there's no incentive to, and they're too traumatized by the first 3 stages that they don't want to leave. Now you get to the 5th, and they've learned that law and order is great. It's got its place, but it's not the be all end all. Look at that. I can self-govern all on my own. When you realize you can self-govern in the 5th stage, when you realize you can self-govern in the 4th stage, so you move on to the 5th stage, that is when you realize your comfort zone can actually come with you. That's when you take your comfort zone and it turns into boundaries. It's supposed to turn into boundaries. That way you can now go out on your own, self-govern, and keep your boundaries with you, so you'll always have your comfort zone. But we don't do that because we are manufactured. We are manufactured to fit the 4th perspective, where there are no boundaries, where there is no comfort zone except for law and order. How's that working for us? Look at the mess it's made. Where there is no comfort zone except for the religion. My mother is a 2nd perspective. My mother associates safety with her religion to the point where she crammed it down our throats to keep us safe because she cannot associate safety and comfort away from her religion. This is the psychological formula that makes religion so toxic. Is because it's a crutch. It enables fear. And that's really it. When you have a religion to comfort you, it enables your fear. When you have a law and order and a system that makes you feel comfortable, you're enabling the fear because you're not growing. You're not stepping outside of that comfort zone. So suddenly your politics become your comfort zone. Your religion becomes your comfort zone. And yeah, stepping away from your God is terrifying if it's your comfort zone. Stepping away from faith in your God is terrifying if you're using it to enable your codependency. And that's just it. So many, all 2nd perspectives use their religion literally as a codependent relationship. So yeah, they're not going to leave their religion. 3rd perspectives transfer that codependency onto themselves before they're ready because they have a lesson to learn. And what ends up happening is that's when the table tips and you are introduced to narcissism. Narcissism is birthed out of the aggressive line of the 3rd perspective. Narcissism and empaths, the whole codependency is 100% 3rd perspective. The 4th perspective is absolutely a codependency on you and the system. Boom. Now you can't leave the system. Now you're locked into the rat race because you are locked in a codependency. That's why you can't leave the rat race. It's because you have a codependent relationship with it. You don't know how to break a codependent relationship. This is what a lot of people run into, especially that's been overemphasized in the psych field between addicts or empaths and alcoholics. Really, really overused. Because it's not just them, it's everybody. Everybody is codependent until you're aware of it. Everyone starts off codependent. The idea, the skill, it is a skill, is to learn how to have a relationship without the codependency. Because we're codependent on our caregiver, and then we're codependent on our religion, and then we're codependent on ourselves, literally, and then we're codependent on our politics and our system. And that's why it doesn't work. At the 5th perspective, we stop codependency. At the 5th perspective, we step up and we finally say, I'm not going to be codependent anymore. Now I'm going to be independent. The fifth stage is actually independence. It's when you discover the word accountability. And that's really it. That is the lesson for the fifth perspective. Millennials are born into the fifth perspective. Well, I can't say every, the majority of millennials come into the world already programmed for accountability. They're already there. Gen Zs and the Alpha generation are being born at the sixth perspective. And their children will be born at the seventh perspective. That is the stages of growth. So we are going to see stages 1, 2, and 3, and 4 die out. We are going to see that. We are going to see children going through stages 1 through 4 when they're 4 years old. So by the time they get to be 5 years old, they'll be entrepreneurs, which is why so many 5-year-olds are like, I want to have my own business when I grow up. I want to do this. And they're talking about freelance. But the fourth perspective says, no, you got to get a 9-to-5 job, because it's that manufactured, one size fits all. You have to be manufactured so you can socialize, relationship, business. Stage 5 begins authenticity. Stage 5 is the time when you finally step out of it and you say, I'm going to be authentic now. But there's so much conditioned garbage that you can't break away from that. And that's what we fight against. I was talking with my business consultant yesterday in one of my meetings, and I was watching him. I can't talk to people and not psychoanalyze them. So you've been warned. And I'm talking to him. And there was a moment where I just went, oh my God, he's a millennial. And I said to him, you literally don't have a drop of the patriarchy inside of you. It's like I have it. I had to condition it out of me. And a lot of people are going to have to condition it out of us. Any Gen X and lower is going to have to go through the conditioning. I have a class for that. That's exactly what Triadic Healing does. Millennials, Gen Zs, and the Alpha generation, they don't need that. All they need to do is honor and respect their authenticity. Oh, this is going to be fascinating. I'm so fascinated by this. But yeah, we are walking into the authentic age. That's really what we're walking into, is the authentic age. And we are finally leaving the manufactured age behind. And that's where I finally realized that's all I do is authenticity. It's like my primary, that's all Triadic Healing is. And it's because of this manufacturedness that we've got the narcissistic pandemic, that we have mental illness, that we have perspective abuse. It's because we are being manufactured when we're individuals. That is the price of being manufactured. And that's it. The society you are living in right now is the result of manufactured living. If you love shit like this, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about this, take a look at my Linktree account. Everything I do, all of my projects are right there in an organized fashion. And if any of this video resonated with you, click on the other link below. Tell me which video you were watching and what part resonated with you, and I will be in touch with you. Thank you so much. And I'm also going to be starting up something called How to Socialize While Being Authentic. And it's going to be a massive base for a lot of my classes. How to relationship while being authentic. How to build a business while being authentic. How to socialize. How to parent while being authentic. And it's basically going to be Triadic Healing focused on how to accomplish what it is you want to do while preserving your own authenticity and implementing the boundaries. And of course, I have my Curing Narcissistic Pandemic coming up that starts October 2nd. And that information is available on my Linktree. Go ahead and grab that and sign up. It is a free course to teach you how you can help cure the narcissist pandemic while living your life authentically. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.